Good evening, Clark Fables with the Progressive News Network. Tonight we have a story about a 16-year-old black girl that was shot and killed by police during a Stomp the Yard Gender Equity Festival in Columbus, Ohio.
This gonna hurt me more than hurt you.
The festival was inspired by the courageous flash mob in New York's Times Square last month, where Brandon Elliott, a brave and creative black man who was on parole for the 2002 killing of his own mother, demonstrated his beliefs for gender equality by beating a 65-year-old Asian woman in broad daylight, all while two self-proclaimed men symbolically closed the door on gender oppression as they watched. Bryant, the victim of the shooting, was seen here illustrating Biden's claim that women can do anything a man can do as good or better, proving that even teenage girls can assault minority women in public. She did this by attempting to stab fellow activist and alleged OnlyFans star, My Pink Never Stinks. The officer involved in the shooting said, though he went off script by shooting the teen who was about to stab Never Stinks in the head, as that was not in the original plans for the Gender Equity Festival, he feels that his actions supported the overall story arc that the local supporters were trying to raise awareness for at the Gender Equity Festival by defending a black girl's life moments before it would have likely been ended at the hands of progressivism in the U.S. The apparent father of Bryant, who was so selflessly beating another woman in the street, suddenly questioned children being a part of violence. The idea being, you must be stupid to shoot a kid that is about to kill another kid right in front of you. Sadly, the organizers of this festival were disappointed that the responses on Twitter, led by the attorney for George Floyd's family, Ben Crump, turned what was supposed to be a movement for gender equity into a race issue. Ben Crump was so eager to support diversity and equity that he misspelled the victim's name and misstated her age as 15, despite the fact that the article he was posting clearly stated the victim was 16 and that her name was not spelled that way. Good thing his previous case didn't require many details. In his obviously biased haste to show support, he incorrectly claimed the team was definitively unarmed, as if it were fact, to the public, with no supporting evidence, all while being a lawyer. He did this just before selling a very convincing sense of sorrow when he implied that the team victim of fair and peaceful protest would only end up as yet another child and another hashtag. And then, of course, he shared the hashtag Justice for Ma'Khia Bryant. In sticking to the fun and confusing nature of most equity festivals, in which the goal is only to speak in opposites and contradictions, he ensured the hashtag continued to misspell the victim's name. LeBron James also made a post on Twitter, undoubtedly inspired by the slumlord millionaire Maxine Waters, when he publicly threatened the officer involved in the shooting, showing that not all privilege is white. Only to delete the tweet later, one can only suspect that he meant to finally speak out against the weaker camps in China, the country from which he profits from so richly. But we haven't seen that as of yet, proving once more, no matter how rich these athletic SJWs are, they're still somebody's bitch, even if they call themselves king in their Twitter profile. Up next, Snoop Dogg, the public supporter of race baiter and anti-Semite Louis Farrakhan, explains how "We Don't Love Them Hoes" was a part of a culture movement to enrich not only the black community, but women's rights as well. Stay tuned.